what I would like to start with is to give you an impression how different Semantic MediaWiki installation can look like, and how different the applications can be of Semantic MediaWiki. The first thing that I want to show is the homepage of my company. It's also done by Semantic MediaWiki. That's a bit strange. I had some calls after we launched this homepage. There were some web experts and said, you have to have a content management system. A wiki is not appropriate for a company homepage. But I like it very much for various reasons. For one thing is, it's very easy to maintain because I'm already in that wiki language. It's quite easy to set up a page and to everything. The next thing is, for my profession, I have to give you the picture. I'm a consultant engineer for nuclear and environmental sciences, so I have nothing to do with electronics or with IT in my main profession. But of course, references are something that are very important there. So you have to show that you have done already things that you apply for a consultancy for. So what we also have in there is our references. And this looks like a normal table, but it isn't, because this is also wikified, and behind this there is just a few of these wiki ask questions, and that's it. All the table is automatically deployed, and what's even nicer is you also have an interactive map, and you can show your customers immediately where you have projects, and then you can click on the menu and can go back to the projects. This unfortunately does not work in this menu here because I'm blocked by the proxy. But usually you can see that this works, and you can go back to the project and can show the case. So this is certainly a very unusual way to use a Semantic MediaWiki, and of course this is one of the wikis where there is a very restricted access, because there's only one user who is able to change everything, that's me, and all others can only read. The next thing is, I have already announced this, is you can also turn Semantic MediaWiki in a very powerful and very lean document management system. This sounds a bit odd because, of course, you want to wikify the text, but we have to have in mind that out there in the business world, Word and Excel still are the main tools that are used. And in many companies, there are a lot of existing Word and Excel files. And in this case, this wiki had been set up to counsel the Federal Ministry for the Environment in Germany with regard to their engagement for Chernobyl and other Eastern European decommissioning projects, because they still fund a lot of activities there, and on the other hand they have to check that the public money is spent in a correct way and that the projects are ongoing very well. And this was our job, to do the consultancy there. And when we started, we had by a competitor of ours a SharePoint server with all the documents on it. It was very nice. The problem was that there are so-called donor assemblies that are usually done in London by the European Bank for Reconstruction and Recovery. And the problem there was, in the beginning, no Wi-Fi. It was a shielded room, copper plated, so there is nothing that you can go to the outside from this conference room. It was done for special purposes. And the problem there was, of course, you have no access to the SharePoint server. And you want to have, during the discussions, you have to reference to documents. And then the idea of our customer was, can you set up a database that I can bring on a stick and that works on a laptop without any connection to the internet, anything else? And I want to have the document I search for with less than 4 mouse clicks. There are about 1,500 documents in there. They are all very focused on the very topic, and they cover, as I can show you, a period. We ended this contract in 2013, but the documents start in I think 1996, when the first, there should be one, 96, there's, you see this is when the fund started up. So there is a very long range of documents back. And the point there is that you have to refer to documents that have been written for a certain purpose or for a certain meeting or that have a certain audience. And what we did then is that we set up a very good search page for this. And you can first, on the first page, see the documents you worked, that were the latest updates. This has the idea behind that it's the most likely that you need to have access to these documents. And you see there that there is already a small content of the document. And of course you can click on the document and then you see the metadata of the document. Of course, this is some work to have the metadata of the documents inside the wiki and then to upload the documents. But in the end, you can access the documents very, very quickly. And if you're now looking for a certain document, then you have these word clouds where you can see the documents are organized on the kind of document, on the person who wrote the document, on a certain event, or some facility that is covered, or by the organization. And then you can narrow down very quickly. A second idea to find a document is to apply filters on the list. It's very much the same thing, but you can apply multiple filters. And you can say, okay, I'm looking for an agenda, and it has been written by the European Commission, and then you see you narrow down this very quickly to 3 documents. This is very, very powerful and very helpful inside Semantic MediaWiki. You don't search usually for things, but you filter and you apply or you have special pages that already collect the documents you want for a certain topic. So I usually very rarely use the search facility here. Of course, there are also things inside there with respect to the facilities. It's not very fast here, sorry. Okay, it seemed to have stuck somewhere. It's running on a VMware machine in the moment, and I have several of them running, so probably they interact somehow. But in the end, we had achieved the goal that was set by the customer. We had a Semantic MediaWiki installation that could be run from a stick. It was about 3 gigabytes with 1,000 documents attached. It was possible to run it from a VMware very easily, and yeah, it was a quite good success. Another application that I can show you is we have often the problem that we have to manage the compliance with a lot of technical documents and with a lot of regulatory background documents. This means if you want to do, let's say in the nuclear branch, if you want to do a certain task, there may be 6, 7, 8 references to this task with regulations that you have to fulfill. And so the mapping of the compliance, if you are, for example, writing a report, how things are done is quite complicated. And well, usually we started off some years ago to do some compliance metrics in an Excel sheet. But depending on the task, this can be very broad and very lengthy. So this is not very handy to check if you are compliant with a report. What we did there is that we identified several fields that are covered by such a report, In this case, this is nuclear waste management. And then we set up sort of compliance reference where you see all the things that you have to fulfill are collected in a wiki. And there's a reference to the regular background, to a law, to an ordinance, or also to some standards like KTI. And then you can map all these requirements, and in the end you can also show what are the definitions that are given for certain topics inside this field. And you can also see, when I'm writing a report, this is very handy because I can very fast look up what is the requirement, how should I use the language, and what are the topic words that I should use, and do I use the word in the right way, because this is very important. If you use it in the wrong way, if you writing interim storage instead of buffer storage, this makes a way of difference, because the language is used different there. And then totally other requirements would apply, so you have to be careful there. And the next thing is that we can also map back the text that we have written for a certain task, and we can say, okay, this is the requirement, and this is the answer that we give to this requirement in the text. And we can either reference to a report, or we can just give the text. And this is quite handy if you have the discussions with the authorities. Then you can say, okay, how did you handle this or that requirement? And then you can very fast and very quickly answer, this is how we did in the report, and this is how we do actually. So this is quite handy to manage very large requirements for such things. And of course you can use this for anything. What we can think of, for example, is the requirements for regulatory compliance of chemicals is today very complicated, because you have to apply REACH, ROSE, several other things. For if you are exporting to US, you also have to show that there are no substances in your product that have been produced in certain countries and so on. And this is a very complicated topic, and therefore I could also imagine that it would be very interesting to have such a requirements mapping. Then there is one project that we are still working on. This is not yet a project, I have to admit. We are still working with the agency to see whether we can go together there, because until now they are using SharePoint for this topic. But there are certain networks inside or under the umbrella of the agency that bring together experts from all over the world to share their experience, and also to share the application of tools and the application of certain techniques. And especially in the field of decommissioning, this is very important because there are many countries that have built in the 70s and 80s nuclear facilities, but now don't have the technical capabilities or don't have the money to go into decommissioning with these facilities. And on the other hand, there are countries like Germany, UK or France that have a vast experience in decommissioning of nuclear facilities. And so the idea is there to give them to give advice to other countries and to give technical details of certain technologies. And we set up there a wiki for case studies. I cannot show you the case studies, but I can show you some of the technologies. Oh, sorry, logged out. And there you can see there is a whole list of, this is still in a prototype phase, so there's not too much content in there in the moment. But you have a list of technologies, and you can go inside such a technology, and you can see the functional principles and some of the things to application. And then this is mapped again to case studies, and the case studies are of course mapped to the technologies and are also mapped to certain fields of application. And one of the things there was what are the questions that the field engineer has. And we said, okay, either he's going by a case study because he knows the case, or he's going because he searches the technology. But we also saw that the field of application is very important. And this is why we invented this box. There's the field of application, and this is this allows you to go through the topics, and you can always see we are in the field of application. This is chemical decontamination. Above there is decontamination, which is separated in chemical and physical contamination, and on the same level there are other fields of application. And this is one of the sort of hierarchical way to go through the wiki, but you can have the same kind of navigation also, for example, for the materials that are used. You can also have the same kind of navigation for the site or for parts of the facility. So there are several aspects where you can go down a hierarchical navigation system, and that allows you to find the topic very quickly. And to my understanding, this is one of the main advantages of Semantic MediaWiki, that you don't search for things, but you find them very quickly. Okay, what else could I say? A moment. Yeah. I think I'm kind of finished with the going through. Alex volunteered to show us another live demo.
Yes.
Yeah, with some additional aspects. Yeah, are there some questions so far? Probably can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're dealing with old databases, Excel files, and
Yeah.
so when you create a wiki, are they still in that file format? They're just being linked?
Yes, they are uploaded. The one I showed you, the problem there was we have to keep the Word file and we have to keep the Excel file, because they are sent between the authorities back and forth. So this is the wiki of one authority. This one you wanted to show. And of course they want to keep their Excel files and their Word files, so they are just uploaded. This is very, yeah.
So this is
dissatisfying from a wiki point of view, but it takes into account that the files just exist, and it would be very complicated because the exchange between the authorities is on Word files. It would be very difficult, and the authorities are located in different countries. In this Chernobyl project, there are, I think, about 60 donor nations together with the European Union and some parts of UN organizations. So it would be very difficult to explain to them, okay, from tomorrow on we will work on a wiki. I guess you would not succeed. So we have to accept that there is a certain standard in the moment, and so far it's unfortunately still the Word file. Yeah. But what I've seen for my personal work is that if you change working on a wiki, if you change, for example, report writing on a wiki from report writing in a Word document, it's quite different, because the interesting thing is you concentrate on the contents on a wiki. And this makes it also interesting for companies. And it was quite interesting for me to learn that, for example, large chemical companies like BASF, if they apply for the regulation for their chemicals, for new chemicals, they have to apply at the European Union for for the acceptance of their new chemicals. And this is usually reports with several 100,000 pages, because there are a lot of studies, and you have to have studies about toxicology, you have studies about environmental impact, you have studies about the production, you have studies about the safety and everything. And so this is a lot of paperwork. And I learned that they do not write any report in Word or something like this anymore, because it's just too complicated. They just type everything inside a database, and then there's one special department that makes a report out of this. And this is quite the way you can work with the wiki too. And I think this will, in some years, probably also change the ways that companies will work with reports and so on.
Yes.
But for the moment, we have this problem that it is not easy to get the content of Word and Excel files into the wiki. Excel files is probably a different thing, because this can be imported via the CSV import path. But for Word files, it's a pain in the ass, to be honest.
So you've got semantic properties assigned to the uploaded files.
Yeah. So we have some metadata, and we search for this metadata, of course. Yeah.
So how do you actually assign properties to the files?
We have a special. In this case, it's not automated. It would be feasible to automate it, because you can take the properties from the Word files if they are handled properly, which is usually not the case. Then you can take these properties and can import it like this. But what is very handy there, unfortunately, this is somehow just stuck. I will just have to restart this. Sorry for that. This one. For some reasons I cannot see in the moment, the server hangs from time to time. Yeah, I have to ask Alex to give me a proper stack for this, because in the moment I'm still working on a Bitnami stack, which is quite, sometimes a little bit problematic. Oh, okay, I forgot the password. That's password. Yeah, sorry for that. This is what always happens if you're standing in front of an noise, that you're stuck in the middle of the process with things that usually never happen. But the thing behind is, if you have to type in such things, what is very powerful is the auto-completion in Semantic MediaWiki, because it helps you to do the task very quickly. You just type in the first few characters, and then you can fill out. And if you already have the... Oh, it seems to be not my day. There is no network interface. Yeah, I'll probably show you afterwards. Sorry for that. But we certainly come back to auto-completion in the afternoon, because it's really very powerful if you have to fill in things that are where you have the categories, or where you have already examples in there, and where, let's say, the thing that you want to type in already exists, then it goes quite quickly. And this will usually be the case if you're setting up something like document management, because in a company you have a limited number of authors, you have a limited number of departments, and so on.
It's not something we do on a large scale. nice to know the possibilities there.
Yeah, it's certainly not the thing to do for a startup. If you want to bring a load of document into a wiki, then you have to look for other ways, of course. But then you will have the same problem. Either they are in a content management system, then you have the possibility to use a extract, transfer, and load software to extract it from that database and to bring it into the wiki. I think Alex has a quite interesting solution there. And otherwise, not many documents are produced at the same time, so usually you upload also to a document management system the things piece by piece. And I guess it's the same if the wiki is running and the main contents is in, then you will go on manually.